We've obviously presented last year in September, and really today is about updating everyone that's sort of listening about the progress we've made in 2020, which has been quite significant. As we discussed last year, we've sort of got a stronger team back into GBM, and we'll talk about the people behind. Just touch on that in the next slide. Over the last 12 months, we've sort of expanded our shareholder base. Just go back, Steve. We've expanded our shareholder base in Australia and North America and Europe. So we've got a good mix of funds as well as retail investors that have come on board in the last 12 months. We've got a strong cash and marketable security treasury of about 13.6 million, which includes about $4.5 million worth of Nano shares that were part of the Malmsbury joint venture, which we'll talk about. And rare for an exploration company, we're now delivering cash flow out of our joint venture at White Dam, which we'll talk about a bit more. So, you know, our key focus is really the Drummond Basin. We had an existing resource there of about 330,000 ounces. We've just recently announced the acquisition of the Andan resource, which was nearby. That was actually completed this week. So we now have a combined JORC resource of just under 1 million ounces. In that Drummond Basin, we've also just completed a small drilling program late last year at Mount Coolon and Glen Eva, which we'll talk about. And really, in that basin, our strategy continues to focus around consolidating some of the other resources that are a bit stranded, and we'll talk a little bit about that. The other projects in our portfolio, we've done a JV as we'll discuss later with Novo on the Malmsbury asset. Our Cloncurry copper gold assets are well funded with our JV partner JX Nippon. We've got a couple of other copper assets that we're looking to get JV funding on, and then we'll talk about White Dam and how that cash flow JV is going. Just a little bit about the people behind GBM. So I'm the managing director. I'm probably a rare breed as well, being a metallurgist running an exploration company, but we do have exploration development assets now and producing assets. Then Peter Mullins, who's the executive chairman, and Stephen Nano obviously provide the bulk of the geological expertise and particularly around epithermal gold experience, which is really the key resource type in the Drummond Basin. I'll let Steve sort of elaborate a little bit on that when he comes on shortly. And then recently we also brought on Brent Cook as a non-executive director to, I suppose, support our geological sort of expertise, plus our push into the North American and Canadian markets with different funds. Next slide, Steve. A little bit about where we've been trading in the last 12 months. Share prices performed pretty strongly. We've got a market cap of about $58 million, and as I say, a treasury that's pretty strong at the moment. We're just completing the Aeris placement today with another $1 million as part of the Andan acquisition, and that gives us a really strong platform to push into next year, this year with the exploration programs we'll talk about. Okay, thanks, Steve. I'll hand over to you.
Thanks very much, Peter. So just now to focus on the exploration story for the company, a really strong project portfolio. All of the projects are focused on gold and copper targets. They're located in the eastern third of the country, which is really important for us for a strategic and workability perspective. And all of these projects are within some of the premier metallogenic districts in Eastern Australia that have, in their own right, produced very significant world-class ore bodies. First, discussing our Drummond Basin project, which is the flagship of the project, where we have really focused our exploration dollars and our growth. Substantial resource growth during the year, and in fact, as Peter's mentioned today, completion of the transaction that increased our resource base from 330,000 to over 850,000 ounces. that consolidation story is far from over, and I'll touch on that lately. Our exploration is focused there, as we've mentioned. Half of the results of our recent drilling program are soon to be reported, and we've also doubled our claims holding within that district. Malmsbury, focused within the Victorian goldfields, a true Fosterville-style gold system that we have now in joint venture with a strong partner, Novo Resources. A very favourable deal for GBM, and also an aggressive program with some very positive initial results that will be reported today on the ASX from that program. Our Cloncurry copper joint venture, again funded by our partner there in Nippon Mining and Metal, focused on targets surrounding the world-class Ernest Henry copper gold mine operated by Glencore, and $750,000 going into that project from our joint venture partner there this year. Our White Dam operation, Peter will speak about that soon, but plant upgrade and production on track for gold and copper is we're producing in excess of the initial estimates here, and have expanded the resource to grow the mine life in the recent months that's been announced. Another one of our primary projects, Mount Morgan Copper Mine, surrounding a world-class gold copper district there that we're seeking a partner to advance. Just a quick look at our project portfolio here. Very large scale project portfolio, very balanced all the way from resource definition and mine production at White Dam, resource expansion through acquisition and exploration in the Drummond Basin, our Mount Coolon and Yandan projects, and pipeline projects. In addition to this, as I mentioned here, in excess of $2 million of exploration spend from our partners in Malmsbury and Cloncurry. A quick look at our Mount Coolon flagship here. Figure on the left here, trucking circle radius here from what is now a 100% GBM owned Yandan project adjacent to our Mount Coolon project where we've been drilling. As you can see, other acquisition opportunities within that trucking halo that we are well advanced in discussions on some of those. And with the Yandan acquisition, not only an addition of plus 500,000 ounces to our resource base, but also permitted mining licenses, tailings dams, water supply, and electrical power grid. So a potential here for quick development. Yandan brought along not only the resource at East Hill, exploration targets in the near resource environment, but some very exciting exploration projects in the district that are 100% owned by GBM, where historic drilling has intersected significant mineralisation, some of which will probably translate into JORC resources for us later in the year. At Mount Coolon, as I mentioned, recently completed our maiden drill program there, an existing resource of over 300,000 ounces of gold. Historic production of high-grade mineralisation in the district, showing that we are in a substantial district here that can produce. Our field teams have been able to work throughout the year and in fact are mobilising back to the field in the next few days. Exploration drill results to report, a large-scale geophysical program initiated just before Christmas and will be finished early in the new year here to define more targets for our drill program. Moving on down to Victorian Goldfield now, our Malmsbury project in joint venture with Novo, 50 kilometres south of the Kirkland Lake high-grade Fosterville mine. Malmsbury is a true analogy for this system. There's a lot of people saying they have Fosterville targets. We genuinely do. Very strong joint venture for GBM. Projected budget for 2021 in excess of $1.8 million, 100% funded by our partner. Extensive exploration program that was finished up until Christmas. Some very encouraging assay results from the surface sampling, and as I mentioned, that project underway. A quick look at some of the results here that you can see. So Our project here covers a significant gold field. It's produced a high-grade mineralisation from what we believe is the top of one of these orogenic systems. Lots of alluvial workings in the drainage. Very little historic production exploration here in modern times, apart from GBM's resource here on the 11-star trend, 100,000 ounces at 4 grams, open along strike and open to depth, but over 8 kilometres of mine workings and pitting with very little drilling. Our recent sampling has returned multiple samples from the dumps and outcrop in the multi-gram to multi-ounce range. You can see from some of the statistics here, including samples up to 180 grams from outcrop. So very exciting results as the initial phase of work from this project. Back to you, Peter.
Yeah, look, I'll just summarise our production JV. So White Dam Copper Gold Project is an old heap leach operation that had about 7.5 million tonnes of material stacked on a heap at about 1 gram. There's residual gold and copper in that heap, which we're now recovering. If you go to the next slide. So as part of the joint venture, we built a SART plant, which is basically a copper recovery plant that liberates cyanide. What that allowed the project to do was basically eliminate cyanide addition for the absorption of gold, which is a significant cost, and improve the economics. And it gives us a copper revenue stream as well. So that JV started in June last year. We've been ramping up production of copper and gold over the last 6-7 months. That's going really well, probably meeting our expectations or a little bit better. We're in the currently sort of looking at how we optimise the SART plant and expand it a little bit further. And then the key real opportunity for SART for the project is the next slide, is the existing resources that are sitting in the project. There's about 100,000 ounce JORC resource in these 3 deposits that you can see here. 2 of them have been mined. White Dam North has not been mined. We're currently basically doing preliminary pit optimisation work to really understand how far these pits will push at the current gold price and the current cost structure and the current recovery arrangement with copper. And early in the next quarter, we'll start a drilling program there to do a little bit of infill drilling on where the pits are trying to push, and then it'll allow us to basically finalise a scoping study to get comfort ahead of our ability to exercise the option in July to buy that project. And just wrapping up on the last slide, we've had a good year. What's our focus? Really, our focus is on the Drummond Basin and expanding a large drill program into 2021. White Dam, it's about getting enough comfort from the cash flow and the open pit extensions to make a decision to exercise our option to buy that project in June. And then the other projects, it's really making sure our JV partners put dollars into the ground and push on with exploration drilling. And then our last project, Mount Morgan's really about getting a good, strong partner.